Right, today, by which I mean the 7th of June, I am going by car again, Institute Urodi there. This is Rybnik, or part of Rybnik. Somehow it conspired not to take us through the very centre, but to kind of wind us around the outside. Lots of graffiti here. Domus, that's Latin for house. This is a house of sorts, so it's not lying. I'm going to Prague by car, so there we are, that's what I'm trying to get to. I'm going to Prague today by car, but a different way, because usually I go through this Dolny Śląsk. That's the way I'm coming back, incidentally, but for once I decided to go over Chalupki and try to, go through the big Czech motorways near Ostrava and that, and drive through, the long way through the Czech Republic via the motorways. Now, it's a funny thing, but when I was a little boy, I say little boy, I think I was in the 4th year or the 5th year, which means, 14, 15 years of age, I did have a kind of dream of driving about in, what was then Czechoslovakia, and I wrote a composition from my imagination in German, because we had to write various things in German for a teacher, David Morgan, and this particular one that I wrote one time was an idea of driving through the Czech Republic, and now that's something that I seem to do quite a bit of. So it just goes to show it was a bit of a dream at the time, and it's a dream that in the end came true. But when I was a kid, I wanted to know about this whole area of Europe, about Poland and about the Czech Republic. When I was a little boy, I was just there in England, I thought to myself, well, interesting parts of Europe with interesting sounding names and interesting looking people, and no doubt plenty of culture and interesting things to eat and to know and learn about. That's all cut off from us, and so here we are. I suppose it's 32 years on from that time, and now unless I'd actually taken the time to think about it, I wouldn't have thought twice about the fact that I'm driving today. I've driven through, first of all, from Warsaw down to the bottom of Poland. This just seemed to be the natural thing to do since I live here. Objazd Chalupki, that's a bit interesting, isn't it? Objazd Chalupki, I suppose that's Chalupki for lorries, and that's Chalupki for Wojciech Śląskie traffic. I don't know which way to do it, but Chalupki is something, I haven't been through the Chalupki crossing for a long, long time, and in fact, I think I've only been through that Chalupki crossing once before. This looks like I've got to give way. So, and certainly there was no motorway on the other side of it when I went before, and I went before with a certain ex-colleague of mine from BDO days. His name was Dr. Antoni Pilny. He was a character, I liked him. I still do like him, but not quite sure he likes us so much now, or me so much these days, but just don't have a crash on camera. Well, he got into a bit of an annoying, he got into a bit of a tiff with my former boss when I was at the company that I was at more than 2 years ago. So some of that probably rubbed off on me. So whether he still likes me or not, I have no idea. I still think he's a character and be happy to be friends with him, but he wasn't always the easiest chap to get on with. But I think at the time when we were in BDO, he and I got on like a house on fire, and he is actually one of the sources for the Huliganov character, because he has that kind of dour expression, and he's very professory as well, and he talks a lot. just talks an awful lot, and he used to really love to the sound of his own voice, you know. And I knew that he'd be settling in for a monologue, where all he needed from me was just the occasional grunt to continue and keep going indefinitely. Oh, Chalupki's supposed to be down that way. Oh, that's not very good. Hang on. I shall have to change my tack here. Change my approach, I think. What shall I do with this? Then I shall have to go around like that. Which is not bad going for one arm, is it? There we go. I shall have to do this. It's an interesting Rondo Liévin. I don't even know who Liévin is. Just because I feel ignorant. Sometimes I feel ignorant when I come to Polish roundabouts because they name them after people I haven't heard of, and I feel as though I should have heard of them. Anyway, this character Anthony Pilney, he was an amusing character actually. Not that he was intending to be amusing, he was just amusing. He did a good line in jokes as well, and it's not that he never tended to be amusing. He was quite straight-faced though, in most of the time, but nevertheless he managed to be amusing, not in the way he expected to be. So I used to quite, and the thing is that I didn't find his long talking challenging. It was like having the radio on, because he didn't really need, he wasn't like asking questions after us to find out whether you had followed him. On the contrary, he would come to everything that he was saying, he was going to repeat it about 3 times over, just because he loved the sound of his own voice so much. Speaking in deep Silesian, I have to add. So when I was first learning Polish and I first came across this guy, he was one of my earliest clients at first, and then I took him into the company because he got, you know, into a disagreement. As I say, he wasn't an easy guy to get on with. He got into a disagreement with the client, and they didn't want him anymore around, and so I said to him, well, you know, he wants to join us. Would it upset you if we took him on? They said, no, as long as he doesn't do our audit, you can have him. So and I decided that I would take him on. So I took him into BDO. He's still there, he and I used to go off and do clients together, and it was doing one client that we went through Chalupki. In fact, that's not true. He didn't take me through Chalupki doing a client. He took me through Chalupki when he was still with Carbotech Polonia, which was the company he was at before. So that I'm going back to 1994, because we went to the Carbotech Poboczka, as the word of Czech that I knew from back then. He took me to the Carbotech Poboczka. Am I still on course for Chalupki? I'm still not sure about this. Never mind. Let's keep going. He took me to the Carbotech Poboczka in Ostrokarwinskie Dole, and he took me over Chalupki. And we met on the other side another guy who's still in BDO. His name is Vlasta Hokr. And we went to this to do a review of compliance with Czech law of the Poboczka of Carbotech Polonia, which I can say because it no longer exists. None of that exists any longer, so it's all been changed and subsumed into various other things, and it doesn't exist in its same form anymore. So there's nobody to be embarrassed by the whole tale, or any harm to be done by it. So I think I can say it now, 16 years or 17 years on, without any harm come of it. And that's probably a big exception, because you'll very rarely hear me talk about any client matter on any of these films, even though there's well over 1,000 now. I think it must be the first time I've ever mentioned the name of anybody that I've done anything for. But like I say, 17 years on, and everything was nice, everything was fine, everything was successful. So where's the harm in it, other than formality? So, oh dear, I really don't know. This wants to go up to Schwerklani and Jewelry. I can't get this. I'm not really not sure about where I'm supposed to be going with this.